Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to take all that chaotic information out there and, well, try to give you a coherent map.
That's the goal.
So, if you're in any kind of long-term partnership, could be romantic, business, even a really deep friendship, you probably know this feeling. That quiet weight that sort of settles between you, conversations get shorter, maybe the laughter feels a bit forced.
Yeah, rehearsed almost.
Exactly. And you might look at the other person and feel this little flicker of irritation, not like, that initial amazing feeling.
Right.
You definitely still love each other, that's not the issue, but something fundamental,
Yeah.
something underneath has just shifted profoundly.
And that moment, that's not usually failure. People jump to that conclusion, but it's more often a signal that things are maturing.
Maturing, okay.
Yeah, most people, they confuse this necessary developmental step with incompatibility. Or they think, oh, the magic's gone.
So they get stuck trying to get back to the beginning.
Exactly. They stumble around hoping it'll just snap back to how easy it was at first, but that path is usually blocked. You have to move forward.
And moving forward is what we're mapping out today. We're diving into a concept that, honestly, cuts through a lot of the usual relationship advice noise. It's called the respect curve.
It's a really useful framework.
Simple, kind of elegant, actually. It explains why relationships seem to inevitably hit a wall. It shows that growth isn't just straight up, there's this predictable cycle. And it includes a dip, a painful but necessary dip.
That's right. The respect curve maps 3 stages pretty much every meaningful long-term relationship goes through. Dependence, independence, and then finally, interdependence.
Think of it like a roadmap for growth, right?
Exactly. It's the terrain of development.
So our mission today is basically to hand you that map. If you feel like you're standing right in that tricky, ambiguous middle part, that dip, we want you to see that stage is actually asking of you.
So you can stop feeling, guilty or like something's broken.
Right? And start figuring out how to climb towards a connection that lasts. So let's start at the beginning, the high point. Stage 1, dependence.
The honeymoon phase.
That's what everyone calls it. It's the easiest one to remember because it feels so good. Yeah. It'd be the hardest one to let go of, too.
It really can be. And for good reason. Dependence, it's all about safety, easy connection. Often this kind of emotional fusion happens.
Fusion, like you sort of blend together.
Yeah, exactly. Your lives, routines, even what you like and dislike, you blend and respect. It's not something you really work on actively. It's just assumed.
Yeah.
Because you're so aligned. And this phase is crucial, don't get me wrong. It builds deep attachment, trust. It typically lasts, maybe 6 months to 3 years? Somewhere in that ballpark.
But that fusion, you said it can't last forever.
It's unsustainable, generally. Life always intrudes, doesn't it? And that's what usually pushes you into the next stage, independence. That's the dip in the curve, the deep, uncomfortable part.
Okay, so what triggers that shift?
It often happens when one partner, or maybe both, starts to realize the cost of all that fusion, like they're losing themselves a bit. So space suddenly becomes necessary. Tension starts to build. And external things, promotions, a new baby, moving, even just one person growing faster developmentally, start pulling you away from that intense closeness you had.
And that's where people get stuck.
That's the danger zone. They mistake needing autonomy for, we're not compatible anymore.
And if you've been there, you recognize the signs, right? Less talking, making decisions alone.
Maybe more conflict or just pulling away, silence.
Yeah. I saw this great anecdote in the sources. Someone named Alex really nailed this feeling. Alex felt restless, guilty, admitted something like, my whole life feels like just obligations, doing everything right on paperwork, kids, but feeling totally hollow. Asking, is this it? Am I supposed to feel this? Restless.
That restlessness, that is the sound of the independence stage. That's the self trying to come back up for air to claim its own space. And the sources point out this paradox. The harder people try to fix it, meaning go back to the fusion of dependence, the worse it gets.
Wait, hang on. Fixing it makes it worse. That feels backwards.
It does, doesn't it? But it's tied to something called psychological reactance. It's like a natural pushback mechanism we all have.
Reactance, okay.
If you feel like your autonomy is threatened, like if your partner keeps chasing you for closeness, when what you really need is air, that attempt to control you triggers a primal defense.
You push back harder.
Instinctively.
Right.
You withdraw even more to protect your freedom. So the partner who's pursuing connection actually ends up making the distance bigger.
Wow. So you chase them, they feel controlled, they run faster. Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. And this dip, It doesn't have a set timeline, does it? That must feel terrifying.
Exactly. It's variable. The sources suggest maybe 6 months to 2 years is typical for the independence stage. But
Mm.
look, if nobody understands what's happening, if they don't get these mechanics we're talking about,
It can just drag on.
indefinitely, yeah. Because they're essentially using the wrong map for the territory they're in. They're trying to navigate a desert with a map of the ocean.
Which leads us to this really core idea, one that kind of challenges everything we're told culturally.
Yeah.
The idea that love is enough.
Right.
Because if you're stuck in that dip, you probably do still love your partner. Deeply, even.
Mm.
So then why does it feel so miserable?
Well, the sources argue pretty strongly that love, while essential, is actually an insufficient organizing principle for relationship development.
Insufficient organizing principle. That sounds clinical.
It does, but it's clinically vital. We see couples, genuinely, who love each other, they're devoted, attached, but at the same time, they might feel contempt or withdraw completely or just sabotage connection constantly.
So love creates the bond, but doesn't guarantee the relationship works long term.
It doesn't guarantee structural integrity or maturity, no. Love keeps you attached, but it doesn't automatically build a structure that can handle growth and change.
So when you say insufficient organizing principle, you mean trying to fix the diff by, I don't know, having more date nights or saying I love you more?
Mm-hmm.
That's just treating symptoms.
Pretty much. If therapy, for instance, only focuses on getting the affection back online, it misses the deeper structural problem. The relationship is trying to evolve. The old structure, dependence, it's broken down. You need a new principle to build the next stage.
Okay, so if love isn't the key principle for fixing the structure, what is? What should we focus on?
It's respect.
Respect.
Yeah. And specifically, respect in this model means honoring the other person's reality, especially when it conflicts with your own. It's the active ability to act in ways that honor both yourself and the other person simultaneously.
So the respect curve isn't measuring affection levels.
No, it's measuring how well the structure of your relationship can handle two separate, changing individuals.
Okay, that's a big shift in thinking. To make this really concrete, you suggested thinking about the parent-child dynamic.
Yes, it's a pattern we all live through, and it perfectly mirrors this relationship curve. We learn it first in our families.
How so?
Well, early childhood, right? That's pure dependence. The child sees the parent as like all-knowing. Respect isn't earned, it's automatic. That's the high point of the curve. Easy connection, feels safe.
Right. Then the teenage years hit.
Boom. Everything changes. You realize your parents aren't perfect gods. You need space. You need your own identity. You rebel. Suddenly, your parents are idiots who understand nothing.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
That intense rejection, that fight for space and a separate self, that's a painful independence dip right there.
Right. And then?
And then hopefully, as a mature adult, you enter interdependence, you see your parents again, but now as, well, as flawed, complex people who are probably doing their best. Respect comes back, but it's totally different. It's mutual now, it's negotiated, it's based on shared humanity, flaws and all. So this curve, it's just a map of how we learn respect, first for others, then for ourselves, and finally, how to balance the two.
Which explains why the sources say this isn't just about romance. It applies to work partnerships, leadership, families.
Any meaningful relationship that needs both closeness and autonomy, it's a fundamental human developmental pattern.
Okay, let's dive back into the mechanics of that crisis stage, the independence dip. We know the basic conflict. One person wants closeness, the other wants space.
And underneath that, both feel fear. The one chasing connection fears losing love. The one needing space fears losing freedom, losing themselves.
And that fear fuels that loop you mentioned.
Exactly. That fear drives the classic action-response loop that keeps couples totally stuck.
Can we walk through a really concrete example of that loop?
Yeah.
Because I think seeing it clearly is crucial.
Absolutely. Let's say partner A gets home Friday night. They immediately go off to work on a project or maybe play video games. They need that autonomous space, right? Decompress.
Okay, alone time.
But partner B has had a long week too and desperately needs connection. They see partner A retreating and interpret it as rejection. So partner B starts to pursue.
Like, hey, are we going to talk about the weekend? Or did you see my text about dinner?
Exactly. So partner A pulls away. Partner B pursues, feeling rejected. But partner A hears that question, did you see my text? As pressure, a demand, maybe even an attack on their needed downtime.
Ah, so they feel controlled.
Right. So they might snap back, I just walked in, give me a minute. Or maybe they just withdraw further, slam a door, or put on headphones.
Making partner B feel even more rejected.
And pursue harder. Or maybe withdraw and hurt. Either way, the pursuit-withdrawal cycle intensifies. It's a loop. And importantly, neither person is usually acting out of malice. It's driven by fear.
And like you said with psychological reactants, one person's defense triggers the other's deepest fear, and round they go.
Keeping them stuck indefinitely if they don't understand the dynamic.
So the goal is obviously to break that fear cycle, move towards interdependence. The sources offer a kind of map out of this, right? These 4 forms of restraint.
Yes, exactly. These are the tools you need to climb out of the dip. You have to learn to hold all 4 in balance.
Okay, let's break them down. There are 2 pairs, individual and relational.
That's right. Let's start with the individual pair. First is respect for other.
Which means?
Honoring your partner's needs, their feelings, their reality as valid, even when, especially when those needs conflict with your own.
Okay. And the twin to that?
Is respect for self, just as vital. Honoring your own needs and feelings is valid. Acting on them, even if your partner disagrees or it creates, short-term tension.
Can you give an example of balancing those 2?
Sure. Let's say your partner wants a really quiet weekend at home, needs downtime. But you feel cooped up, you desperately need social connection. Respect for self means you honor your need, maybe make plans with friends without feeling guilty.
And respect for other?
Means you honor their need for quiet without demanding they join you or making them feel bad for wanting something different. You accept their reality as valid, just like yours.
Okay, that makes sense. They balance each other. What about the relational forms?
So we have respect for unity. This is about protecting the we, the shared life, the core values, the rituals that hold the relationship together, the safety net.
Like agreeing on certain non-negotiables.
Exactly. Things like maybe protecting Sunday dinner together or maintaining financial honesty or how you navigate holidays. Things that preserve the shared foundation.
Got it. And the last one? Respect for individuality. This sounds like the tricky one when you're coming out of that fused dependence stage.
It often is. This is about actively celebrating your partner's growth and divergence, even when they change in ways that might feel uncomfortable or inconvenient for you.
Celebrating, even if it means less time together.
Yes. If they suddenly get passionate about, say, training for a marathon every Saturday morning, respect for individuality means genuinely cheering them on, supporting that separate path. You're respecting the boundary they need without rejecting them.
Wow. Okay. So interdependence isn't just about getting through the changes.
Yeah.
It means you have to actively practice all 4 of these respects at the same time.
Simultaneously. That's the hallmark of the mature stage. It allows individuality and unity to coexist. The relationship moves from being driven by those intense but ultimately unsustainable highs and lows of dependence and independence.
And settles into something more stable.
Exactly. The sources call it a steady warmth. It's a connection built on conscious choice, mutual understanding, and this deep structural integrity, not just based on need or fear anymore.
So wrapping this up, what does this mean for you, listening right now, if you feel like you're standing right in the middle of that dip?
Well, first, it means that feeling of being stuck. It's often just the normal, predictable, uncomfortable experience of being in the independent stage.
It's normal and temporary.
It can be temporary, but you have to engage with it consciously. Use these 4 forms of respect like a compass to navigate it.
And the first step isn't trying to drag the relationship back to the honeymoon phase.
Definitely not. The first step is just noticing the pattern, naming the stage you're in, like that moment Alex had, realizing, okay, wait, I'm not broken. This is just a stage.
That awareness, maybe sharing that awareness with your partner, that's the beginning of the climb out.
It really is. And maybe one final thought here. Notice the difference between being respected and feeling respected.
Say more about that.
A partner deep in the independence stage might actually be behaving respectfully. They aren't cheating, they aren't cruel, but their withdrawal, their focus on self, can make the other partner feel intensely rejected.
Yeah?
Understanding that this feeling of rejection might be a side effect of a necessary phase of self-discovery for your partner, rather than proof that they don't love you anymore. And that shift in perspective is critical for getting out of the dip together. Awareness shared is really the first step.
So a final question for you to think about. If you were to sketch out this respect curve right now, where would you place yourself? And maybe more importantly, what is that particular stage asking you to learn right now about respecting yourself?